everyone, this is RWBY, and today I am here to discuss Cobalt. I don't know what Dino has said already. For those who are watching this over on my YouTube channel, this is actually going to be featured in a Twitch stream, but I can't join the Twitch stream because it's happening on a day that I have to work. So I'm recording this message, and it'll be over on the Twitch stream, maybe in an edited form. I don't know what Dino plans on doing, but this will also serve as a backup copy for those over here on YouTube who can't make it to this Twitch stream. So I'm not going to talk about everything when it comes to Cobalt. There's too much to discuss, but I do want to touch on a couple of key aspects. Like I said, in the Twitch stream, Dino might be covering that, but for those who aren't watching the Twitch stream, I just want to give a little brief rundown of what's happened in the last couple of months, as well as a little bit of a teaser for what's in production already. First of all, the last time we did a Twitch stream for Cobalt was, I believe, back in October, and it featured several other visual novel projects that were going on at that time. Right now, as far as I'm aware, only one of them is continuing. The other two are on hold or have gotten canceled. I don't know for sure. But when it comes to Cobalt specifically, Cobalt is getting back on track. I know that there was a bit of a lull in content for almost a year because of drama. It kind of derailed Cobalt's motivation for a little bit, but we are back on track. We've managed to produce a 0.2 recode update, and 0.3 is, if it's not finished by now, it's very, very close to being done, which means that you guys will be able to enjoy even more Cobalt content very soon. Hopefully, as the weeks and months progress, these recodes getting up to 0.6, which was the last actual full-on produced story content for Cobalt, once we get through 0.6, everything is going to be brand new, and we're going back and revamping a lot of the dialogue and a lot of the events. And I still have to work on coding, or not coding, the writing of the combat system, because we're going to do a QTE type combat system that's going to be very heavy in story. And we're doing that because of the fact that visual novels don't lend themselves very well to combat systems unless you've got animated sprites going around punching each other, or you've got like a 3D model that will take the place of the sprite during the combat system, and we don't have any of that. So we're not going to go the route of JPDE, which is a boring slog of a combat system that just is not fun to play, it's not fun to watch, and it just is not fun in general. And we're hopefully going to be able to use what a visual novel is supposed to do, which is to tell a story, to flesh out the combat that you see in RWBY. It ultimately will just come down to when I have time to do it. Hopefully, by the time 0.4 releases, I will have worked on at least the 0.1 combat system fight, so that by 0.5, hopefully 0.1's, what do you call it, the combat that was in 0.1, I believe, which is, I want to say, a spar against Blaze? Or a spar against Ren, I don't remember. But hopefully that fight will be coded and in the game, and as we continue producing the game, we'll just slowly release the combat so that it can tell the story that it needs to tell. It's a very big endeavor, so it's taking a long time, and I am extremely busy. I've been working 45 to 50 hours a week, and in addition to that, I also have my YouTube channel and a fan fiction to write, so it's very difficult to find time and motivation to be able to sit down and work on this, but with luck, hopefully we'll be able to get it done. Now on to the fun stuff. Since the last panel, which was back in October, we lost our previous sprite artist, which was Helium. He had to step away from the project due to personal reasons. But we did manage to get Amiko back on board, who was the person who produced most of the sprites in the game, because most of the sprites are from JPDE, and we are slowly phasing those out with our own sprites and our own unique things. So Amiko has allowed us to come back as clients, and we are doing our absolute best to slowly but surely update and replace all the JPDE sprites so that they visual novel looks more like our own stuff rather than what just borrowing assets from JPDE. And we're excited to see it. We've got multiple characters already in production. We've got multiple characters that have already been replaced, and we've got a large number of characters that still need to be fixed. So just keep an eye out for that, because I have a very good feeling about how the production is going to go. Speaking of sprites, two of the sprites that we are actually two of the characters from JPDE that I have been talking about for a while that will be in Cobalt were Jack and Evelyn. Ultimately, we redesigned Jack. As you can see on the screen around me, you'll see the original Jack sprite from JPDE and Jack's new redesign. Jack's redesign shouldn't be new to a lot of people, because I did show off both the concept art that I worked with Rain Shadow to get approval from Jack's owner, Little Red, as well as her sprite. I believe I showed off their sprite back in February or March in the Cobalt spoilers chat, and her sprite was the Cobalt server icon for a little while. So the sprite has been hanging around for a while. But for those who need a refresher, this is the difference between the two characters of Jack. As you notice, I've decided, since Jack is supposed to be from Vacuo, to go with the more tan skin tone rather than the pale one that JPDE uses, because every character we know of from Vacuo has tan skin. We've got Sun, Indigo. There are several examples where the skin color of the people from Vacuo tend to be darker than elsewhere. So I decided that since Jack's from Vacuo, she should have that same skin tone. It just makes sense from a lore standpoint. When it comes to Evelyn, however, there was a bit of a mishap. We couldn't get the design properly put into place, basically, because as people know, this was the original design for Evelyn in JPDE. And although we wanted to use Evelyn, and we wanted to use her in a unique way, we could never get a design that Little Red truly approved of, because Little Red was like, she's a tailor, but she doesn't really care about her own clothes, so she's got patches everywhere, and because she's colorblind, she can't see what color the patches are, so she thinks they're all the same color, but they're not. And we just couldn't work with that. Like, it just looked really, really bad. On paper, it looked like it would work, but when you actually start putting the colors in, it just didn't look appealing. And Rain Shadow and I decided to scrap that thing entirely. And instead, we decided to create a new character. For those who haven't been on the Cobalt spoilers chat, because they didn't want to get spoiled, I'm sorry, but I'm spoiling it for you now. Allow me to introduce you to Evelyn's replacement, Adeline Shade, who is my personal creation based on the White Rabbit from Alice in Wonderland, and specifically the White Rabbit from Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland, because I really like the aesthetic choices that Tim Burton used for the White Rabbit specifically, mainly with the elegant coat and just, you know, he looks a little frantic, and I wanted Adeline to not look nearly as frantic, because it would look too much like Evelyn when she's like in psycho mode, when she's using her semblance. So ultimately, I decided to make Adeline a little more classy looking. But as you can see, she's got pure white hair. The gray ear is a bit of a design choice, and she's got a coat very similar to the White Rabbit from Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland. We're sticking with the Alice theme because, well, frankly, I still wanted to have some kind of connection to Evelyn from Little Red's version, because Evelyn and Jack both had very unique and interesting things going on with their character development and storyline from Little Red's story. Many of those elements didn't get put into JPDE, but I really liked them, so I wanted to honor that. So although we're not using Evelyn, both because of the design and because Evelyn is JPDE's mascot, and if we're trying to distance ourselves from JPDE, we need to come up with a new character to replace her, I decided that Adeline would work probably the best, because I could take a lot of the design and backstory and personality choices that Little Red had for Evelyn and turn them into something unique. So it still honors the character without actually using her. There are a lot of interesting little things I'm going to be doing with Evelyn and Jack in JPDE, or not JPDE, Cobalt. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, Jack and Evelyn are going to play major parts in the story as side characters with their own side story that will allow Cobalt as a team, as well as Cobalt Blue as a character, to evolve into a stronger leader, a stronger team, and hopefully a well-liked and well-earned place in the RWBY fandom. That's my hope anyway, because I've got big stories, big plans for these characters, and I can't wait to show them to you. I'm not going to tell you exactly when they're going to release, because that part of the story hasn't even been written yet. I know when they're going to be released, and all I can ask is keep playing the game, keep your eyes peeled, because I'm going to be dropping some hints. Some of them are going to be pretty subtle, some of them not so subtle, and when they appear, you'll know. I think that's all I need to talk about here. So thank you for joining me. This was ArcAlpha12, and I will turn it back over to Dino if you're watching the Twitch stream. If you're not, I will see you in the next video.